Hello everyone, welcome to the channel Soft Lifestyles. My name is Sophia Salam. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I made this crop shirt you're seeing on screen right now. The video on how to draft the pattern is already up on the channel. Please check it out. If this is your first time on the channel, do well to like, share and subscribe. Thank you so much for stopping by. Let's get started with the sewing tutorial. We are going to start by cutting out the pattern on fabric. All I'm going to do now is to add all the necessary sewing allowance that I didn't add when I was cutting the pattern and cut it out. So I'm starting with the back pattern followed by the front pattern. Right now I'm done cutting it out on fabric, as you can see, and I've already cut out facing for the front pattern. So for the front pattern, the facing is getting all the way to the shoulder and it enters the armhole a little bit. And on the facing I added ST, and as you can see the ST did not get to the hem. I hope you can see just a little bit around there. So for the side of the facing, I'm supposed to weave it, but my weaving machine style misbehaving, so I didn't weave. I only taped the hem. So if you have a weaving machine, you can just weave yours. So another thing I did is in the center, on the center front like this, I mark out my half-inch sewing allowance all the way, and that spot is the notched point where the shirt collar is going to start from. Remember, it's 1 1/4, so I marked out that 1 1/4 from after the sewing allowance that I marked out. I hope you understand this. By the time we start sewing, you are going to understand it better. So the back, I didn't do much. I only cut out facing for the back as well, though because my fabric was not enough. I would advise you make your own back facing a little bit longer than what I have here. What I have here is around 5 inches or so you can make yours longer. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to join the shoulder and attach the front facing. So I'm going to attach the front facing. After that, I'm going to attach the front and the back piece, the shoulder. I'm going to join them together. So let's start sewing now. So what I'm first of all going to do is to pin the front facing to the main fabric like this. Then I'll take it to the machine to sew it down. So just pin it gently and take it to the machine to sew. Please, when I was cutting this fabric, the fabric was like really drapery, so it stressed me a bit. So if your fabric is drapery, please undo it gently and make sure you have enough fabric when you are doing your own. My own fabric, I underestimated the fabric, so I didn't buy enough, and I could not go back to meet the clients that the fabric is not enough, so I had to manage. So if you notice the facing is not getting all the way to the hem of the main fabric, yeah, it's because I was trying to manage the fabric. Anyway, it all worked out fine. Just don't make the same mistake that I did by buying fabric that won't be enough. So buy enough fabric. It is better you have more fabric than less fabric. So let's start sewing. I'm done joining the front facings. So the next thing I want to do now is to attach the back and the front. So I'm going to join the shoulders. So I'm just going to open up the back like this and turn to the front side. Then I'll place the front of the pattern right side facing each other like this. Then I'll take it to the machine to sew it. Notice that I have not attached the back facing, so just set the back facing aside for now and join the shoulder the main fabric to the main fabric like this. Now I'm done with all the joinings, the facing, the front facing and the shoulders. I am done. So what I'll just do now is to take this to the machine to iron it down. So for the front facing, to iron it, I'm just going to go to the wrong side where the seam allowance is. I'm going to keep it folded like this, then iron it down there like this. So I'm going to press it down, make sure it is flat and nice. Then I'll turn to the right side of the clothes and iron it down there as well. So for the shoulder area, I'm going to open up the seam allowance like this and iron it down. Then after that, turn to the right side and iron it down. So let's just iron it now. For the ironing, if you have a steam iron, it will be preferable, but if you don't, it's totally fine. Just sprinkle some water on the seam allowance like I have done and press it down. So press it down, ensuring that the seam allowance is on top of the main fabric itself. I hope you understand. Once you are done, turn to the right side and press it down like this so that it will be flat. And when you are done pressing this side, take it back and fold it the way it is supposed to be. You know, the facing is going to be inside, so face it down like this, and at this point sprinkle some water on it or use your steam so that it is going to be flat, and arrange it well when you're ironing it. You don't want the seam allowance to be peeking out. So once you are done with this, turn to the second side of the front and repeat all the things you have done. Once you are done, the next thing is to iron the seam allowance on the shoulder. So open the seam allowance here and press it down with your iron. Then turn to the other side and press it down as well. Do it for both sides of your shoulder joinings. Now that we are done with the ironing, the next thing now is to cut and attach our collar. Remember, I've already added seam allowance to the collar. I hope you get it. So now let's cut it out. But before we cut it out, we need to ensure that what we have on the collar is the same thing with what we have on the neck of the fabric. So I'm just going to take my tape and measure what I have from the notched point. I hope you can see the mark, that my 1¼ mark. Yes, from this point you are going to measure it down to the center back like this. So remember to notch your center back when you are cutting your fabric. Then I'll measure what I have on the pattern paper like this down to the seam allowance. You see, I'm leaving out that seam allowance at the tip. Yes, leave it out, don't measure it. So measure from after the seam allowance to the center back. So what you have on the paper must rhyme with what you have on the fabric. If it is not equal, please adjust it accordingly. So to cut out our collar, I'm using my main fabric. Then I'm supposed to have a facing. Like I told you, my fabric was not enough, so I'm using a black fabric for the facing for the collar. On the main fabric, I've gone an stay on it, but the facing I didn't put stay. You can put it. I just decided not to put it on the facing for the collar. I hope you understand. It's totally optional, but make sure you shall put it on the main fabric. And there was no need for me to add any seam allowance again, since I've added all the seam allowance when I was drafting the pattern. So I'm just cutting it out directly now. So let's cut it out. Now I'm done cutting it out, but before I remove the paper, I'm going to notch the shoulder area like this. and I'm going to notch the center back. Yes, I notched the down part, and I'm going to notch the upper part of the center back as well. So right now I'll just open it up, then place the facing on top of it, right side facing each other like this. Then I'm going to sew the upper part down with half-inch sewing allowance. But before I take it to the machine, I'm going to mark out my half-inch sewing allowance so that it will be easy for me when I'm sewing. I'll just follow the lines that I mark. You can do the same thing on your fabric, well, anyhow you want to do it. So like I said, I would like to apologize for some missing clips on this tutorial. My phone started misbehaving when I was making this outfit. A lot of things were not working for me at the time. Even my machine was just cutting thread on this particular cloth, so it was really frustrating and a bit so. But don't worry, you don't have any, all the things that are missing I'm explaining it to you guys so that you will understand it. So once you are done sewing, notch this angle. Yes, notch it. I already notched it off camera, so notch it and turn to the right side of your fabric like this. So then you are going to take this to your iron to press it down neatly. So use your steam on the clothes so that the edge will be flat and nice. Once you are done, you are going to sew down the down part so that when you are attaching it to the main fabric, it is not going to shift. So right now I've done the ironing off camera. I'm just trying to sew the down part down so that it doesn't shift when I'm attaching it to the main body. I hope you understand it. It down. At this point, you can still take it to your iron to press it down so that it will be flat. So once you are done, so the next thing I'm going to do now is I am going to mark out my half-inch sewing allowance on the down part that I'm about to attach. So I'll just mark it out first before I attach it to the main fabric. After marking it out like this, you will notice that there is an intersection around the edge here. Yes, this point. So I'm just going to put my scissors there to notch it down to where they meet. Please don't cut it all the way through, just down to where you can see your chalk that they meet, the two lines meet like this. So I'm just going to do it on both sides of the collar. So now I'm going to take the main fabric and turn to the right side of the main fabric like this. The first thing I'm going to mark out is my notched point. Yes, my 1¼ inches. I'm going to mark it out like that. Then I'm going to go down by half of an inch, which is going to serve as sewing allowance. Can you see? I first mark out my 1¼ I hope you still remember from the pattern drafting. Then I'll go down by half of an inch. Then I'm now going to place, can you see, the edge of the collar like this. You can see I'm not trying to make sure that the tip, the last tip of the on the collar is not resting exactly on the line that I marked. It is the, I just want you to watch the way I'm placing it so that when you are sewing your own, it doesn't stress you. Can you see what I try to match? Yes, just try and match it the way, look at the way I place it and try and replicate it on your own fabric so that you don't have issue like it is not equal when you are done sewing. Can you see? You are going to tilt your collar a little bit. Just make sure that your sewing allowance down is meeting the ½ inch sewing allowance mark on your main fabric. Just watch the way I tilt it, you will understand. So right now I'm just going to pin from one side of the collar to the other side of the collar, and I'm going to make sure that the center back notch on the collar is resting on the center back notch on the main fabric. So like once again, can you see the way I place the collar and on the main fabric. I'm not trying to make sure they are equal on the tip. I just try to make sure they are equal by the sewing allowance like this. So I tilted the collar a bit. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to first secure the one side of the collar, because we are going to sew this collar in a way that the collar is going to be the one facing you. It's going to be on top while the shirt is going to be down. I hope you understand it. So what I'm just trying to do now is I'm going to secure one side that is not convenient for me to start sewing from, sew it down just to secure it, then start sewing from the other side of the collar that is convenient, ensuring that the collar is the one on top while the main fabric, which is the shirt, is down. I am done securing the first part. So now I will start sewing from the part that is convenient for me to sew. So now sewing it, I'm just going to make sure that I'm sewing it gently and neatly. When you are sewing this kind of collar, even ordinary shirt collar, you don't want to rush because you are going to make mistake. So when you want to do this, calm down and relax and do it. So like this, just sew it gently. As you are sewing it, be arranging your shirt so that you don't have it squeezing when you are, that you don't want to see that it has squeezed when you are done. I hope you understand. So as you are sewing the collar, be arranging your shirt as well and be doing it gently and neatly. As you can see from the video, I'm also taking my time to do it. So take your own time as well. You don't need to rush. Now that I'm done attaching the collar to the main fabric, there is this part that we need to notch on our cloth. Yes, this angle. Can you see this angle here? Yes, it is the same part where the one we notch on our collar falls on the fabric. So just notch it like this. You can actually notch it before you attach the collar, but just to avoid you not over notching it, it's best you notch it after you have attach the collar like I'm just doing, so that place will be relaxed when you are done. I hope you know the part I'm talking about. Can you see this angle on the facing? Yes, that is the part I'm talking about. So notch it when you are done. So the next thing now is to attach our back facing. To do that, we will need to first join the shoulder of the front facing to the shoulder of the back facing. Yes, that's what I'm about to do now. So I have done it off camera. I'm sorry, I didn't get that clip, but all I did was to join the shoulder for the facing to the shoulder of the facings like that. Then I'm now going to use the facing to turn the joining of the collar. I'm just going to arrange it nicely so that the notch on the back facing will fall on the notch on the collar and the other one that I have joined before. I'm just using the facing to turn the seam allowance so that the seam allowance will now be between the facing and the main fabric. I hope you understand it. And since I already have seam line that runs through the main fabric, I will just follow that seam line now. After I have pinned it nicely and neatly, I'm now going to take this to the machine and follow this initial seam line that I have on the main fabric, which I used to join the collar to it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Another thing is, when you are arranging it like this, make sure the notches match. The notch on the center back on the facing rhyme with the one on the main body. Then the joining on the shoulder on the main fabric align with the one on the facing. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So right now I am done I am done. Can you see what I have? I'm done with all the sewing that I need to do regarding this collar. So you can trim, you can just open it up and trim this sewing allowance a little bit, but me, I didn't trim anything. All I did was to take this to the machine, then press it down. Yes, press it down neatly. You will need to do a lot of arranging for this part, so you will need to arrange it very well. And don't forget to notch that part that I said on the facing as well, that angle. Don't forget to notch it on the facing so that that place will be relaxed. I hope you understand me. So this is what I have. Can you see that angle? Alright, yeah, it is relaxed, nothing is. So like I told you, if you're facing for the back, you can make your own longer than what I have, so that by the time you attach the sleeve, it is going to hold it down. So the only work that is left now is just to iron it with a lot of steam. And please don't forget to shape out your lapel when you are ironing. I hope you understand. So here I am done making the outfit, and I wanted to show you guys what it looks like. So this is it. As you can see, it is looking flat and neat. So thank you so much. If this is your first time on my channel, don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. If there is anything you don't understand, drop it for me in the comment section. I'm going to reply to you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for watching my video. See you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.